There are stories in life that can never be forgotten. Welcome. Today I'll share with you two mysterious and scary stories. The disappearance of Joy. I am 25 years old now, but I still cannot forget the terrifying event that happened to me when I was only 10. Every single detail is burned into my memory. When I was a child, we often visited my grandmother's house on the outskirts of the city. I even made a friend there. His name was Joy. So, when my mother told me that I would spend the summer holidays at my grandmother's place, I was overjoyed. I kept imagining how much fun I would have with Joy and even made plans for what we would do together. The summer vacation finally came. My grandmother welcomed me warmly when I arrived. She was my mother's mother and lived alone in that little house outside the city. Joy was her neighbor, living with his family right across the street. When he saw me, no one was happier than Joy himself. We spent our days riding bicycles, racing around the village, and exploring. A few kilometers away, there was a forest. We planned to go there, but my grandmother refused to allow it. She warned us that it was dangerous. Wild animals lived there. Among the village children, there were also rumors. They said an evil, man-eating creature roamed the forest. Of course, we didn't believe such stories. We wanted to prove them wrong. So, we lied to my grandmother, grabbed our bikes, and set off toward the forest, feeling like superheroes. The forest was unlike anything I had ever seen before, towering trees, so tall they left me in awe. We left our bikes and started walking deeper inside. That's when we saw it, a strange tent, covered in black fabric, almost like a hunter's hut. I froze. "Let's just go back home," I told Joy. Honestly, I was scared. But Joy shook his head. "It's probably just a hunter's tent. I've seen hunters here before. Come on, let's check inside, unless you're too scared." The word scared stung my pride. "Fine," I said, trying to sound brave. We slowly approached. Suddenly, strange noises echoed from inside. I turned to look behind me, and then something struck my head. Everything went black. When I opened my eyes, my head was throbbing. No one was around. No Joy, no tent, nothing. Terrified, I began to cry. Our bicycles were still where we had left them, but Joy was gone. I froze in shock, afraid to scream. The only thought in my mind was to run. I grabbed my bike and raced back to my grandmother's house. But I didn't tell her what happened. Instead, I went to Joy's home, hoping maybe he had returned there. His mother, Mrs. Clark, looked at me and said, "Joy left with you, didn't he?" In that moment, my whole body turned cold. I panicked and lied, saying we had split up earlier, then ran home. I locked myself in my room and cried until I fell asleep. That evening, when my grandmother called me for dinner, I woke up trembling. "Did Joy come back?" I asked her. "No, what's going on?" she asked, confused. "We were supposed to play tonight," I mumbled. At dinner, Mrs. Clark suddenly rushed into our house. "Tell me," she cried, "Sylvia saw you with Joy earlier. Where is he?" I froze, the world around me turning dark. My grandmother demanded to know what had happened. Finally, through tears, I told them everything. Mrs. Clark and her husband immediately called the police. I gave my statement as clearly as I could. But they found nothing. No Joy, no trace at all. When my mother heard what had happened, she rushed over and took me home. I will never forget the way Mrs. Clark screamed at me, "You killed him. You're the one who killed my boy." Those words still echo in my ears. Yesterday, my mother called to tell me that my grandmother had passed away. As the tears welled up, the very first thought that came to me was Joy. The most painful thing is that his disappearance remains a mystery. And now, as I prepare to attend my grandmother's funeral tomorrow, I keep wondering, how will I be able to look into Mrs. Clark's eyes? The tunnel under the railway. I still can't forget what happened to me when I was 12. Even now, when I remember those days, a strange shiver runs down my body. We lived in an old house on the outskirts of the city. Not far from our place, there was an abandoned railway. People said it was very old, no trains passed there anymore. Under the railway, there was a huge dark tunnel. Among the kids, many scary stories spread about it. Some said, spirits live inside the tunnel, while others whispered, it's full of the souls of people who disappeared. That summer holiday, my friends, David, Mark, and Adam, gathered together. As always, David wanted to look brave and said, "If we're real men, today we'll go inside the tunnel." At first, I stayed quiet. My mom and grandma had warned me many times about that place. but I didn't want to hear the words, "Are you scared?" So, finally, I agreed. When night came, the four of us rode our bikes toward the railway. The air was strangely silent. As the tunnel entrance got closer, my heartbeat grew faster. The tunnel looked like a giant black mouth. Cold air rushed out of it. "Are we really going?" Adam asked nervously. "Yes," David replied firmly. We stepped inside. At first, nothing happened. Our footsteps echoed loudly, making the silence even scarier. After a while, we tried to turn on a flashlight, but it didn't work. Only darkness surrounded us. Suddenly, we heard a strange noise behind us. I turned, but saw nothing. "Did you hear that?" I whispered. "Probably just a rat," said Mark. But then, David screamed loudly. We all looked back. In the darkness, we saw a shadow. It looked like a person, but its arms were unnaturally long. We started running. My breath caught, I almost fell. David was ahead, Mark ran beside me, but Adam's voice came from behind. "Wait for me." We were too terrified to stop. When we finally burst out of the tunnel into the night, there were only 3 of us. Adam was gone. We didn't dare go back. We just rode home, silent. The next day, Adam's mother was searching everywhere. In the end, we told what happened. The police checked the tunnel. They found nothing. No signs, no traces, as if Adam had vanished into thin air. Now I'm 32, I still avoid that place. The scariest part is, sometimes, in my dreams, I hear Adam's voice. Wait for me. If you enjoyed these kinds of stories, don't forget to subscribe for more.